Hello, 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 and welcome to my live. I am very excited to be here. I got my moon today, so my energy may be a little bit more slower, but that's okay. We're descending into the womb, into the body during this time for us women, so I'm going to honor that. I'm probably going to speak a little bit slower, and I will be looking at my notes probably a little bit more. And I'm here for it. I'm here to show up authentically as my energy is bringing and not forcing myself to be high energy when I'm feeling a little bit more mellow. So thank you for being here. Whatever time you're deciding to watch this, whether you are live or watching the replay, thank you so much for choosing to be here with me. I love and appreciate you so much. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. So today we are going to talk about what does it take to become an extraordinary couple. And this is something that I really wanted for a really long time with me and Ron for 2 years. Now, I didn't necessarily, I knew I didn't want to be like the mundane relationship that gets boring, that you see that they're just there. It's almost like there's something that's there's this passion that's missing in a relationship and there's no upward movement. Like you can feel the stagnancy in certain couples. Like this is just how it happens. And it's usually like a normal thing. That's what you hear all the time. Like, oh, this is normal. This is what happens. And what's normal or what's common doesn't necessarily mean normal. So it's a common thing for couples to kind of get in this lull. But I believe that it's not normal because I believe that we are beings we came here to thrive in life and not live an okay life, a mediocre life, a life that you are content with, or a life that you are settled with. I don't believe that that's what we came here for, and I didn't want that for my relationship either. So for 2 years, I was noticing that was happening to us, and I was like, hell no, this is not going to happen to us. So I'm really excited to share with you how to become an extraordinary couple. So before we begin, I do want to let you know that Reignite starts tomorrow. I am so excited for this. This is a program that is a masterclass. I mean, it's almost like a program, but this is a masterclass that is going to take you from the boring relationship that you are right now, and we're going to ignite connection, love, and sexiness, like the sex life that you used to have, but better. And it's a 5-day masterclass where I'm going to give 5 live transmissions, and then on the 6th day we're going to do a live Q&A so that you can come in and give me all your questions about what's going on in your relationship, because every relationship is very nuanced. Every relationship has their specific struggles, and I want to help you break through, gain clarity, start moving the needle in your relationship. So that is going to be just a priceless piece of the program, and that's a bonus. So that's not even included in the price. The price was just for the transmission. So this is a bonus. This is my gift to you for joining this masterclass. And what we're going to be talking about in these modules are going to be about communicating through your heart portal to ignite intimacy and turn on. This is not the sexiest conversation, but it leads to sexiness, because in order for you to really, for your partner to be there with you and for you to want to open up to him sexually, you need to have that emotional connection. So this is a huge one. I'm going to spend a really good amount of time and some really yummy, juicy things to get to get this turn on going in your relationship. And then we're going to go into sexual polarity inside and outside the bedroom. This is the one that I'm really excited about. This is like the juiciest part of the whole program, masterclass. It really feels like a program of this masterclass. And then this is what, but in order to bring the sexy back in your love life, you need to have the intimacy, which is why that's the first thing we're going to talk about. And then shadow. We're going to talk about shadow and expansion, really talk about like mother and father wounds, masculine and feminine wounds, and how that affects your relationship and how shadow can be hindering the passion. This is also like a deep conversation, but still one that is necessary. You need to go deep to experience the pleasure, the ecstasy, the love, the connection, the fun, the playfulness. All of that needs to come with some depth in order for your relationship to sustain and to really expand. And you're going to have meditations, practices for you and your lover so that you can walk away with and start implementing ASAP. Like everything, every day, you're going to have something to do to start moving the needle in your relationship. And then even more once we get to the Q&A. So it's $73.33 to claim your spot. I already put a link there in the description, so you can go ahead and click on that, or you can message me and we can talk more about if you have any questions. And then I can send you the link if you decide that this is an aligned decision for you to make. All right, so let's get to it. What makes an ordinary couple and what makes an extraordinary couple? So I asked this question on Facebook because I was super curious to see what you responded. And you guys had some really awesome answers. So here are some of the answers that came through. An ordinary couple is just existing. Yep, I would agree with that. An ordinary couple is in survival mode. I think in the worst case scenario, yes, you can definitely become in a survival mode. An ordinary couple just does the normal things, and yeah, of course. And an ordinary marriage, lack of commitment, infidelity, extramarital affairs, too much conflict and arguing, and lack of physical intimacy. I would say that is definitely where it can lead to once that passion, that sizzle, that spice, that thing that was there in the beginning, once it's gone, especially if the intimacy is not there, you're just gonna definitely can lead into that, because you already are in this disconnected place when you are an ordinary couple. I do feel that there is a disconnection, and then that is the worst. That is what that can lead to. And the worst case scenario would be divorce, or the best case scenario. I think some relationships are meant to be, that are not meant for each other, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about when you feel that you are with the one, like you know that you're with the one. This is what can happen. So these are all great answers, and this is all true. An ordinary couple has lost the passion, has lost the connection, has lost the intimacy, and the sex, it's either non-existent or boring. It's like the same positions, the same place, and it may feel like a chore. It may feel like you're having to pull your partner in order to have sex with you. So to me, this is what it feels like, and this is what it felt like for me. And this is what the energy that to me comes from and what I see in couples. Like, to me, an ordinary couple is a couple that there is disconnect, there's something missing. It can go as extreme of lack of commitment, infidelity, and zero sex. And it's like they have the love, but there's like a disconnect there. So when I see an ordinary couple, I do feel that there's love there, but I feel that there's like a disconnect. It's almost like there's an acceptance to the relationship of what it's become. It's like, oh, this is just what we are. It's like there's an apathy. Like there's an apathy in the relationship. And either you're walking around, you've learned how to walk around your partner's triggers, or you do trigger each other, and then there's really no conflict resolution, and you both go to numb out, and then again, still creating like this disconnection. And what I see and what I think is the worst part is that there's not a willingness or a desire to want to put effort into the transformation that the relationship needs. And I think that's for various reasons. I think there's various reasons for the fear of shaking things up, of actually voicing your needs, of really voicing your needs. There's a fear of the uncomfortable, of like what happens if we do start to talk about this. Like maybe you don't want to face your ego, or you don't want to face your shadow. There could be some pain. Maybe you caused pain in the relationship, and it's really hard to truly face that. Or if you've been the one that had the pain dealt to you, and you didn't want to fully go there, so there was like this quick forgiveness thing, but you really didn't really forgive your partner. And that's ego, that's shadow, that's a fear of feeling. And I think these are the reasons why we become ordinary. You become an ordinary couple. Like, is this lack of willingness to really go face to face with what is missing, what created that disconnect from each other. And the disconnect is a co-creation between the both of you. So the disconnection is not just your partner. You can't blame just your partner. There's two people here. There's two energies there's two human beings, there's two souls that co-created this together. And sometimes that can be very hard to deal with, and a very tough pill to swallow. Do you just see all that thunder? So to me, an ordinary couple is a couple that has just kind of like flatlined, but there's enough pulse there to keep it somewhat alive. It's like there's still that pulse is the love that's still there. So what now makes an extraordinary couple? God, that thunder is like right there. If this goes off, we know why. Okay, so this is the responses that I received from Facebook. Communication and effort, yes. Working together as a team, heading to the goal that they both desire, yes. Extraordinary, working through anything that life throws our way, can work through and past anything. They're a team, communication is always improving, and knows that the other would do anything for you. And where one has nothing left, the other gives their all. This one's my favorite answer. Tapping into life mode and loving all in. I love that answer. That's like the best answer, I think. So I love all of these. I specifically love the one that's tapping into life mode and loving all in. So, but you can see how there's energy and there's life towards these words in a relationship. Communication, effort. Can you hear that? I don't know if you guys can hear that, but there's like a thunderstorm going on right now. But can you feel how there's like energy and there's life force into communication, effort, working together as a team, heading to a goal that they desire, tapping into life mode and loving all in? Like, there's a lot of energy there, right? It's not like a flat line and boop, right? As an ordinary couple would be. Like, there's... So when I think about an extraordinary couple, I think of connection, laughter, like you can feel each other, like you can feel, especially for women, we can feel our man's presence with us, because men can tend to be really up in the head. So when I think of an extraordinary couple, I feel of a part of a couple especially the man that can tend to get up in the head. But women also, like, you feel their energy is there with you at all times. They don't like pull away at any way. They have great mind-blowing sex. And not only does the sex get better, but the loving gets better. There's like this upward spiral of love. That's what I think an extraordinary couple is. I think of a couple that has amazing communication. They can get really deep with each other. There's safety and leadership. There's surrender and pleasure. There's truth and protection. And there is an expansion and deep trust in each other. And there's healing that's always happening together. That is what I feel an extraordinary couple is. Like, it's like a really multifaceted relationship where everything is alive, everything is moving. It's moving. So what happens that a couple can go from starting off and just become an ordinary couple, or what can a couple go off and go into the extraordinary? Like, what is that thing that when there's a fork in the road, they can go ordinary or extraordinary? And Cheryl Fraser said this perfectly. I saw it in an article and I said, yes, this is it. The difference between an ordinary couple and an extraordinary couple is that they're just like you, yet they make their relationship intentional. What does that mean? That means that there's intention, there's life force, there's energy towards their relationship, their lover, and the part that they play in this relationship. They're putting it in the forefront. They're not putting it back over here. Because how often are we always working on our health and our fitness, right? Gotta stay healthy, gotta go to the gym, gotta make sure we're keeping up with all the things, having our clothes fit nice on our bodies and things like that. Working towards money goals, really working towards making sure we have the right mindset, that we're taking all the programs that improve our mind and the way that we attract money into our lives, or improving your career, right? Taking all the CEUs, taking the different certifications, hiring, taking different programs, whatever it is that you do in your work to better your work, to better your career, to better your communication in your career, to better your communication with the universe, right? So it's like you're watering these different areas, but where are you watering your relationship? And I think what happens is that at some point, we take our relationship for granted. It's kind of like, he loves me, I love him, he loves me, I love him. Like, we're not going anywhere. So it's almost like taking it maybe like for granted in a way. Almost like when you have a lot of money and you kind of take for granted how much money you have, and you can maybe be a little loose with your spending, let's say, or not pay really attention to the value of money, like taking it for granted, even though it's like just like always there. So like the appreciation for it maybe drops a little bit. It's kind of like the same thing, except with a human, there's another soul and other emotions and feelings involved. So it's pouring outside. So I invite you to think about, where have you really been putting your intention and your attention to in your life? Like, how much have you really invested into areas that improve your relationship, that improve your sex life, that improve your divine feminine expression, your divine masculine expression? How much attention have you put in these areas? And then with your partner. And if you have, and you are doing that, that's so fucking awesome. Like, you're ahead of the game. You're ahead of the game. And if you're not, this is an invitation, an opportunity for you to be like, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to start putting intention and attention into my love life, into my relationship, to thrive, to not just survive, to not just accept what the relationship is. You can do more. You're never stuck in the situation that you're in right now. There's always room for improvement. Always room to reignite. Always room to reconnect. Always room to revive the sex life. Now, it's not only about making your love important and making yourself important for your lover, because remember, this is a co-creation. It's the relationship together, and it's also you. So it's not just about these areas, which is great, but I'm gonna share with you something that extraordinary couples actually put their attention in. And this again comes from Cheryl Fraser. And it was perfect. So extraordinary couples put their intention on the 3 keys to passion. They know how to keep the passion alive, right? And this is what they are. The 3 keys to passion are intimacy, thrill, and sensuality. So intimacy is the connection, like the heart that's unguarded, the deep connection that you have for each other, the I got your back energy, like that we're a team energy, like we're in it to win it together. That's the intimacy. The thrill is the excitement, the adventure, the attraction, the feeling drawn to each other, right? It's the newness that you bring to the relationship, especially when you've been in a long-term relationship. And then the third one, sensuality, is like the eroticism, the sex, the things that you do that are sensual outside the bedroom, like cuddling, hugging, holding hands, touching each other, like caressing each other, that type of physical sort of touch, right? So an extraordinary couple will take these 3 areas and will have them, if you score them from a scale of 1 to 10, they will have them from like an 8 to a 10, somewhere in the top, maybe even like a 7, up there in the intimacy, the thrill, and the sensuality. And they know where to place their attention in these 3 areas. And to me, I would add to the list sexual polarity and shadow work to that. Because this is how I see this with the explanation. So your relationship is like let's say it's like you can represent it as a house. The sexual polarity would be the structure of the home, right? Which is the container, which is the masculine energy, the walls, the rooms, everything, like the blueprint of the relationship. The feminine energy is all the things that make the home beautiful, right? The decoration, the style, the aesthetic, all of that is like the feminine energy. And in each one of these rooms, you're gonna have different sections of your house, of your relationship that represent your relationship. And 3 of these rooms are intimacy, sensuality, and thrill, right? And then the shadow aspect in this would be, would be like the shadow and the light. So the shadow would be represented by the dust in the house, by maybe dark rooms, like where there's not enough lighting in there. It would be represented by maybe there's like a little mist in the air, like a dark fog in the room. So with the sexual polarity, it's like, okay, how is the foundation? How are the walls? How is the blueprint? Is everything nice and tight? Is the house protected? Is it safe? Is it secure? The decoration is how much liveness is it? How much flow is there in the house? And then the shadow is like, how clean is the house? Like, can you go in the house and like, how much are you cleaning up? How much are you checking in with your shadow? How much are you checking in with the shadows in the relationship? Or where you're allowing the dust to just pile in, right? And then the polarity or the 3 keys to passion are the different rooms. And of course you have other rooms, like you have rooms for your kids, you have the rooms for your like your career and all of that. But for the sake of this conversation, we're just going to keep it with these specific rooms. So this is what I feel an extraordinary couple knows how to have. They know how to have a solid home. And not one of these areas is neglected at all. All areas are being well taken care of, well on point. So the sexual polarity aspect would not only be your own responsibility within yourself, but also the responsibility that you have in the house, right? And keeping the structure contained, keeping the decorations alive, and the pleasure and the different textures and the light and the color, right? Making sure you're always checking in and cleaning the house, like the shadow, the dust. And then checking in on the rooms. Like, are you checking in with each one of these rooms? Are each one of these rooms, if you would walk into the room, how well kept is it? And how can you create a flow to make sure that these rooms are well kept, right? Because if you're making your relationship, whoa, that scared me. That was wild. If you make your relationship intentional, it means that you have some kind of plan. It means that you are not leaving it for a whim. Like, you have it scheduled in your calendar. How to activate these things, reminders, right? Post-its. And you don't need to overwhelm yourself. You just start with one thing. You start with the area that you feel really drawn to start in. But an intentionality is bringing it to the forefront. It's like, you can't go to the gym and not have an intention about what you're going to do, right? Because then you're just going to putz around and not really get any results. It's the same thing with an extraordinary couple. Extraordinary couple has intention in the relationship. They don't just putz around in the relationship. They have some sort of plan to keep the passion alive, to keep their sexual polarity in check, to keep their shadows in check, whatever that looks like for the individual and for the relationship in its entirety. You're checking the boo. You okay, puppies? Yeah? Okay. So, an ordinary couple will not work on any of these things, right? They'll let the sexual polarity crumble. They'll let the thrill be non-existent. They'll let the intimacy be ignored. And the sensuality will feel like a chore. That's what an ordinary couple will do. They will just allow it to go to, right? And then an extraordinary couple will actively work on their love life. They're not going to let it die. They're going to keep watering it. They're not going to let apathy come in. And just one person needs to start. Just one person in the relationship really needs to make that activation in order for the other one to come meet them where they are. Typically it's the woman, but not always. And that's how it was for me and Ron. For me and Ron, I was the one that felt that something was off. because we are, as the feminine, we are the ones that feel things. We are the intuition. We kind of have the pulse of the relationship. And, you know, men just, sometimes they can just live in their heads. So typically in the women, we are the ones who are always looking on self-improvement and things like that, but it's not always the case. But just one person needs to actively be like, hey, kind of take the leadership in the situation and say something's off and we need to work on this, right? So I'm going to give you a little examples of each one of these, of how you can start being more intentional in all of these areas. So for the intimacy, I want you to ask yourself, I want to invite you to look at all of these areas and check in to see where you are. So in your intimacy, are you able to be vulnerable with your partner? Are you able to have conversations and it not become a huge blow-up fight? Are you able to voice your truth in a way that doesn't hurt your partner? You can be honest, but you're not trying to hurt them. And can you listen to your partner? Can you listen to what they have to say and not defend yourself or get triggered and then deflect? Because this is a two-way. It's not just about you voicing your truth. You also have to be able to receive their truth. So can you have that? Do you guys work as a team? For the thrill, are you guys dating? Are you trying new things? How do you respond when your partner comes home or when they call you? Or like, are you really happy? Even if it's the same thing that they do every day when they come home, like, are you at least excited and take a moment to welcome them home? Do you make it a point to learn their love language? Are you a good receiver? Do you let them know when they nailed it so they're like, yes, I did it really good. I'm going to keep doing that again. Do you take her out on a date and not ask her a million questions about the date, but just take fucking lead for the whole thing? And maybe have a couple of backup plans in case she doesn't like where you're going. But that is leadership. She loves that. And how about taking some nudie pictures and sending him in the middle of the day? Or sending him like a sexy message, right? Keep that alive. So for the sensuality, would be exploring different ways to connect in the bedroom and outside the bedroom. Have you explored different ways of orgasming? Have you explored different ways of sensual touch? Have you explored how to connect like in a sensual way without necessarily making it sexual, right? So connecting with each other before you go and play in between the sheets. Touching her shoulders, her arms, and saying something really nice to her in her ear. Maybe something super sexy or something really beautiful. Foot rubs, back rubs, a kiss on the neck, right? And do you know each other's sexual blueprints? That was a really awesome thing that I learned, is learning your sexual blueprint to see how you guys are in the bedroom. And that can also talk about the disconnection that you probably are having in the bedroom. So for your sexual polarity, are you embodied in your masculine if you identify as a masculine, and are you embodied in your feminine if you identify in your feminine? For the men, where can you lean more forward? Where can you be more present and be the doer? For the women, where can you lean back and be more of the receiver? And be more in your pleasure. And for your shadow, are you working on your mother, father, child wounds, the feminine and the masculine wounds that are getting in the way of the relationship? And how do you do that? Ask yourself where you're the most triggered and why is that? And how does this relate to either a masculine or feminine wound or your inner child wound? So these are all the different areas that we're going to be working on inside of Reignite Masterclass. 5 transmissions, bonus Q&A. Super excited about getting in there in your relationship with you and your lover. It's $73.33. We begin tomorrow. Tomorrow is the day that we have the kickoff call and really start getting in there with the section of intimacy. So if you would love to join, I would love to have you there, have you and your lover. If your husband, partner, boyfriend, you know, they're not ready for it yet, that's okay. I invite you to come in. You come and you start. Later on, maybe they'll want to come watch. Maybe after you watch everything, after you experience the entire thing, there's a section that you're like, hey babe, let's listen to this. And at the end of the program, I'm going to give you a shitload of resources for you to continue to explore with your partner, and maybe somewhere within those resources, somebody that he likes. You guys can connect with that, because it could also be that your partner may not like my energy, and that's a thing too, and that's completely fine. I take no offense to that. But if you are feeling drawn to this, if you are feeling drawn to me and what I have to learn and what you want to learn from me and what I've experienced and my breakthroughs and all the knowledge that I want to share with you, I 100% invite you to come in here. You will not be disappointed. I have so much to give you. I have so much wisdom to share with you, knowledge to share with you, and things you can start doing as soon as we start to start moving the needle in your relationship. So if you have any questions, feel free to message me. I would love to answer them. And I think I'm gonna go snuggle up with this rainy weather, and finish out the planning for the rest of the details that I have to put together. As you can see, I have all these post-its right here. Those will be coming down day by day with the masterclass. So, all right, I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day and a great start to your week. And I will see you hopefully inside of Reignite. Mwah. Bye.